Let's talk some late night Niners here. You're watching the 49ers Report. Chase Sr. here with you. Appreciate all of you for hanging out here with me late on a Sunday night, or if you're waking up with me on a Monday morning. If that's the case, hope you're all having a great Monday AM and your week is off to a fantastic start. What a way for the Niners to win this game today in New Orleans against the Saints in week 2. And we've all for a few hours let that Niners win marinate. And in thinking about that performance from San Francisco, how they won the game, the storylines coming out of it, I actually think that's a better win for the Niners than I originally thought, and I'm going to explain why here on the show. Before we do that, we're 500 subscribers away from 170,000 subscribers here on the channel. If you want Niners coverage every single day from yours truly, lock us in, hit that subscribe button. Anytime I'm talking about San-FRAN-CISCO, I want the content to be insightful, informative, entertaining, thought-provoking. I always want you to have a voice as well. So if all that sounds good, do me a favor, subscribe. It keeps the channel and the content free. So let's begin here, right? You think about the 2 games that the 49ers have won to start the season. They don't win those games last year. Those were the games that got away from the Niners in 2024, where they were close, and at the end, the Niners were finding ways to lose those games. Whether it be offensively, they couldn't muster a drive to win the game, like Brock Purdy did in week 1, or defensively, week 1, week 2, San Francisco couldn't get that stop to put the nail in the coffin of the opponent. It just felt as though last year, everything went against the Niners. And everything that could go wrong did go wrong. It was a domino effect, and they couldn't stop the avalanche. And that's sometimes what happens when you're dealing with the Super Bowl hangover. You think about where the Niners were coming off that Super Bowl defeat. They should have won the game against Kansas City in Super Bowl 58. Self-inflicted wounds. They shot themselves in the foot. Still had so many chances to win it. And they went into overtime. And they suffered such a heartbreaking loss. And so emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and in the sport of football, physically, that can be heavy. That can wear on you. And all throughout the offseason, you felt this dark cloud hovering over the Niners going into 2024. And then training camp came around. The vibes were weird. Brandon Ayuk contract controversy. Trent Williams contract saga. During the offseason, weird stuff going on with Christian McCaffrey's deal. And then the season came around, and the Niners were never able to find their footing, find a groove, and find a rhythm. And I'm not saying that early the Niners have been able to do those things, right? But the character wins that we have seen, the complementary football that we have seen, the strides from these young players and the potential that you see, and the big balls victories, for lack of a better term, that we have seen the first 2 games, all of these things were not present last year. And San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, they have to be really excited about what has transpired the first 2 games in this early portion of the year, that this offseason featured a reset and a hybrid rebuild, and already they're starting to get some nice returns, and already you're starting to see what this season can be if the Niners can stay healthy for the most part. Easy schedule, and who this team can become, not just now in 2025, but down the road. And so week 1, you have this epic comeback on the road against your biggest rival in the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, the history between the Niners and Seattle is so intense. Brock Purdy was so clutch, 6 for 6 on the game-winning drive. And he does that after you gave him a contract extension. And you come away from that game and you're watching it in the moment and you're like, that's what we pay quarterbacks $55 million per year to do, right? Then on the defensive side of the ball, after Purdy drove the offense down the field, Nick Bosa closed the game out. He put Abraham Lucas right into the lap of Sam Darnold, forced that fumble, ball game. Nick Bosa called game. And you win that game in a tough environment, when you're banged up, you didn't play your best football, you still won over a Seattle team that, by the way, went on the road and beat the Steelers today. And you showed some nice things, and your defense, which you expected to struggle early, showed some real promise. Week 2, today, against the New Orleans Saints, backup quarterback, on the road, you're injured. And this game was so thrilling and exciting, and coming out of it, with Brock Purdy set to miss potentially 2 to 5 weeks. So he can miss one more game, although the Niners said, we'll see about this Arizona game. But either way, if Brock Purdy continues to be out, don't you have confidence that Mac Jones can run this offense? That Mac Jones can play well? That Mac Jones can lead you to victories? And if anything ever happens to Brock Purdy, you saw today what Mac Jones is capable of doing. Now, if the Niners would have taken him or Trey Lance in the first round in 2021, probably would have been a mistake regardless, right? But all week I had said, protect Mac Jones, run the football, and with quality coaching and Kyle Shanahan calling the plays, you can elevate Mac Jones, and you can win with Mac Jones. I thought the Niners today protected pretty damn well. They ran the football pretty damn well, and Mac Jones played great football. 26-39, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and a passer rating of 113.1. On the road, against a desperate team, when you're banged up on offense, you lost Kyle Juszczyk, you lost your starting left guard. He had the strip sack. It didn't tank his performance to the point where it swirled in the toilet bowl. He was fine coming off of that turnover. In fact, he was great coming off that turnover. And it's the way that Mac Jones looked, right? Poised, good pocket feel, good pocket mobility for the most part. What really stood out to me about Mac's performance, touch throws, layering throws, what he did on third down. Just an epic performance from him that's going to be very memorable. And for Mac Jones, he's got to feel really good. His New England stint didn't go well. Had to deal with a lot of shit. Jacksonville didn't go well, and he didn't play well. He comes to the Niners. First start for San Francisco, and he played as well as a backup quarterback could have played given the circumstances. And so he does that. You play solid offensive football in this game, and your defense, again, closes it out. That's why you pay Nick Bosa, second to last drive of the game. The sack of Spencer Rattler. And you know why the Niners traded for Bryce Huff. And you know why I've said time and time again that trade could go down as a highway robbery. You pay Bryce Huff to be a closer. You pay Bryce Huff to get close to the quarterback, get to the quarterback, pressure the quarterback, hit the quarterback, sack the quarterback, and to have a fast, explosive get-off like he did. The strip sack of Spencer Rattler to seal the game, call game, and end the ball game. That was some big-time stuff, man. And I can't stop going back and watching the explosiveness, the bend that Bryce Huff had working at left defensive end. I mean, the bend and the leverage that he got on the offensive lineman. He's a smaller guy, so it allows him to do that. But the explosiveness off the snap is filthy and ridiculous. And the Niners are paying him under $8 million this year. He pretty much earned his contract with that play because it directly resulted in a victory. And that is why I have said this Bryce Huff trade could be a steal. He's only going to continue to get better. And when I say great scheme fit for Robert Saleh knows how to use him. Good complement speed rusher opposite of Nick Bosa, who's more of a technical freak and power guy. The makeup of this Niners defensive line, if the rookies, Alfred Collins and CJ West, can come along, could be scary hours. And we'll get to Mykel Williams in a bit, don't you worry. There's also this, right? The 49ers have started the year 2-0 on the road with 2 different quarterbacks. And I saw David Lombardi tweet this out. I'll give him props for this tweet here. And look, he's crushing it on YouTube. He's doing fantastic numbers. The last time an NFL team opened the season with consecutive road wins playing with two different quarterbacks, the 1988 49ers with Joe Montana and Steve Young. That Niners team happened to win the Super Bowl. I'm not saying the Niners are going to win the Super Bowl, but you were looking for a fast-track reset, rebuild of your organization. It's happening before our very eyes. And let's talk about Mykel Williams. Another positive development of today's game, the play of Mykel Williams. That's what you want to see from your first-round pick, who you took 11th overall in his second game. He was a monster today. Couple of TFLs around the ball. He chased down Spencer Rattler to the sideline on that play where D. Winters got the flag, but that's some speed that you want to see. The one TFL he had on, I believe, the Alvin Kamara run, lined up against the tight end, played bully ball, just threw him aside. And some of the pressure that he was able to get might not be tallied as a pressure, but he helped to collapse and deteriorate the pocket because of his overall power. And I believe either on the Nick Bosa sack or the Bryce Huff sack, Mykel Williams was double-teamed by the Saints' interior offensive line because he was playing defensive tackle. He's already demanding that type of attention already. And when you have a player like that who can play defensive end and defensive tackle, defensive end on early downs, setting the edge, being a really premier run defender potentially down the road, and already you're seeing the glimpses of that. And then on pass rush situations, he can rush the quarterback from the interior. You're able to go out with that NASCAR package, and these guys can pin their ears back and generate pressure on the QB. Because what the Niners are doing, Nick Bosa, Bryce Huff at defensive end, Yeturgos Matos, Mykel Williams on the inside. And when you have those defensive ends on the inside, they're quick and they're powerful, and they can exploit the mismatch against those slower, plodding, beefier interior offensive linemen, usually offensive guards, sometimes the center, if you're running a twist stunt. But Mykel Williams, collapsing the pocket, demanding attention, opening up opportunities for Nick Bosa, for Bryce Huff. He did it in week 1, did it in week 2. And a sign of quality coaching, how Robert Saleh is using a player like that. A chess piece. How he used Upton Stout today. Slot corner who blitzed a couple of times. Had his first career sack. But quality coaching also helps to elevate players and fast track their development. You're seeing it from Mykel Williams. You're seeing it from Marquise Siegel. You're seeing it from Upton Stout. I know Marquise Siegel gave up the touchdown on Juwan Johnson, but come on now. Great throw, and that's big boy NFL football, dude. You know, Juwan Johnson, 6'4", probably 250, 260. 50-50 ball, he got it. But some of these young players are coming along very well. Another young player and a member of this draft class, Connor Colby stepping in for Ben Barch at left guard. Did we ever call Connor Colby's name once he came in for Barch, who, again, got injured because he always gets hurt? No, that's a great thing. Played pretty damn well. So all of these things are such positive developments for the Niners that when you let these things marinate, you're like, damn, you know, this win and the substance of it, a little bit more impressive than I thought. Christian McCaffrey today becoming the third player ever in the history of the league to have 50 career rushing touchdowns and 30 career receiving touchdowns. How about what he did as a receiver today? I mean, the route that he ran at the end of the second quarter before halftime on that beautiful drive led by Mac Jones, who was 7 of 9 on that drive, was a great route from CMC. He's so talented and such a game changer. He's truly one of one when he can stay healthy. And another thing that I want to emphasize here, how the Niners this year have been so sound in all three phases, playing complementary football. We hear that term a lot, complementary football. Offense helps out the defense helps out the offense, the special teams helps both units out. And today, all three phases, Kyle Shanahan said it in the locker room after the game, All three phases, that's how we won that game, because all three phases were sound. Thomas Morstead, good punting it. Kickoff and punt return coverages, really good. Eddie Pinheiro comes in, misses the first PAT. That's fine, Eddie. Shake off the rust. Comes back, 2 field goals of 40-plus yards. Right down the effing pipe. That's what you love to see. The defense playing like they did, getting the big turnovers, and getting some big stops on third down and in the red zone. The Fred Warner fumble forced on Alvin Kamara, the ball skills there, as good as it gets. That's why Fred Warner is a generational player. He's just insanely good. And along with the point of saying that the Niners were playing complementary football, I just love when a team can win in a gritty, tough, mental fortitude type of way. And this is a big win for San Francisco in this division as well. They play Arizona next week at home. Home opener at Levi's. They're 1.5-point favorites. Cardinals won today. They're 2-0. Rams won today. They're 2-0. Seattle won today. They're 1-1. Closely contested division. And the Niners don't have to worry about being in an early hole. They're 2-0. They've got some wiggle room. And they've won their first 2 games with 2 different quarterbacks on the road. This doesn't happen last year, in my opinion. All right. Wanted to do some late night Niners talk here. It's about 10:30 on the East Coast. Lucky for all of you on the West Coast. 7:30 p.m. on the West. Either way, thanks for hanging out here on the show. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Back in the studio early tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that video.